You're listening to the Manifesting Miracles podcast. By tuning in today, you're dialing into your frequency of abundance. I'm Michelle J. Lamont, your manifestation master and guide. Ever since 2016, I've been obsessively dedicating my life to uncovering, dissecting, and analyzing every aspect of the practices and modalities in which we call manifestation. You see, you are truly more powerful than you can even imagine and fully capable of manifesting miracles on the daily. I'm going to teach you how to attract a life beyond your wildest dreams using your own divine power. So let's get started manifesting your miracles right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is time for us to align and be the highest and the best version of yourselves. My name is Michelle Juanita Lamont, and I'm a manifestation master, author, speaker, and award-winning podcast host. And I'm here today to help you manifest things into your reality so that you can be the highest and the best version of yourself every single day. We came here to be creators. We came here to collaborate with the universe. We came here to be high vibrational beings. And I am just the master and the guide to help you align yourself with your highest and your best version. If this is your first time tuning in, there's a little over 200 and something thousand of you that have found this podcast in the last 2 years or 27 months. And as you start to tell people about this and you start to share it on your social media and you start to talk about it with your friends and your family and your coworkers and your clients and your patients and all of the people that you're manifesting within your timeline reality, the evolution of this podcast has just taken off. And it's because we're all here to create. And I believe in the highest and the best version of you. And so for you to understand that you're co-collaborating or creating in a reality that allows you to be the best version of yourself, and then working with the best guide that there is and learning from somebody who truly wants you to be happy and truly wants you to manifest and truly believes in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. It turns the light on in some very dark spaces in your mind. And so I have been on the warpath since 2016, trying to elevate my energy and understand why I was creating out of fear, out of lack, out of limiting abilities, when I'm a very fabulous creator, and so are you. Because your guides and your angels have aligned you with this frequency, they want you to start creating in a more creative way. They want you to align yourself with the highest version. And when you start to do that, it can feel like you are an imposter, like you're pretending, hi, I'm fabulous, I'm happy. And then you get home and you're like, I'm a piece of shit. I hate myself. I can't do anything. Who am I kidding trying to manifest? I'm not able to do that. And I know this because I've worked with thousands and thousands of people, and hundreds of thousands of you have tuned into this vibration. So let's get started. And I want to help you unleash and unlock that version of you. But I'm going to ask just a little bit of you. I'm going to ask that you sign up for my newsletter. I'm going to ask that you put it in your agenda that you're taking one of my classes this year. I want you to commit to yourself that your life is dependent on your vibration, and that this podcast is an essential part of that. And every single day you're going to tune in and you're going to tell five people, either by text, either on social media, or in a group or text chat, that this podcast is changing your life. Because don't they deserve to be happy? And isn't it a higher version of you that collides with people that are like you and the way you want to be? So don't be intimidated to talk about manifesting. You're always doing it. We're all creators. We're all creators of our reality. So in this archetype of the imposter syndrome, it's fueled by the fear of being a fraud, and it's actually rooted in perfectionism. And so most people have unhealed childhood trauma, And so they're acutely aware of what everybody is thinking and feeling because they've been in situations when they weren't aware of what everybody was thinking and saying, and they were molested, or they were beaten, or they were raped, or they were bamboozled, or whatever it was. So that childhood trauma keeps you locked into, I know what I know. I know this about myself, so I can say this. I know this about myself, so I can do that. And so you get into a pattern of trying to control everything. And when you try to control everything explodes because nothing is able to be controlled. And so it's a false reality. And so when you fall harder. When you crash harder. And when you don't get what you want, it feels like the bottom of the barrel. It feels like I really have got this all wrong. I really don't know what I'm doing, but you actually do. And so there's 5 specific archetypes that are described in when someone has this imposter syndrome, and it's rooted by fear and our childhood traumas. And the first type is the expert. The second type is the superhuman energy. The third type is the perfectionist, which that's what I was. The fourth type is the soloist, and the fifth is the genius. And imposter syndrome is actually, they did a poll, and this is the year 2023, and I'm on the planet Earth, and my name is Michelle J. Lamont, for anybody who's tuning in for just at this moment. And here in this timeline, in the year 2022, I think it was Psychology Today, did a poll of over 1,000 people and asked them if they understood or believed that they had imposter syndrome. And would you know that over 70% of the people polled said they had imposter syndrome? So you share this insecurity with everybody around you. And when we have a fear, we're going to keep producing. And when we're producing this energy, we're going to be surrounded by people who also have this energy. And that proves to you that you're creating, right? So as a creative creator in this reality, I want to help you remove those self-doubt and define what imposter syndrome is, so you can identify your lack in this reality and where those little triggers are coming from, so you can adjust the volume and the dial. You see, you're constantly creating and tapping in to this energy of insecurity and like, I'm not enough, and people are going to figure me out, and I'm a fraud. And you're not, and people aren't, and people are going to love you, and you're going to be found out to be victorious, and you're going to be successful, and all of these stupid little things that are keeping you limited and trapped, they are going to dissipate. But when you're in this reality and when you're creating in imposter syndrome, what do you do? One of the things that you need to start doing if you fall into the category of imposter syndrome to break free out of that particular matrix and that particular timeline is start sharing your insecurities and weaknesses. You see, when you've been hurt and when you've been broken and things have fallen apart for you, the last thing you want anybody to know is all of your situations. Why do you act the way that you act? Why do you talk the way that you talk? So you try to control everything. You try to make everybody look at you as perfect and see you as perfect and not flawed. And, there's no wiggle in your arm, and you have a flawless face, and you have perfect hair, and you live in the perfect house, and whatever it is. But you don't talk about the fact that you have stretch marks, or the fact that you can barely pay your bills, or the fact that your husband, you think your significant other or your partner is cheating on you, and then you're posting more and more relationship pictures to cover up all of that. But when you share and you start talking about and you become vulnerable, vulnerable, and you share those weaknesses and you share that energy, your weaknesses become vulnerabilities that become relatable. And so now you don't have to hope that somebody is nicer to you, because you're being the authentic version of yourself. And I used to never talk about anything. I would never share how I was being treated at home. I would never share about my fears, my doubts, my insecurities. Because of my childhood trauma, my imposter syndrome was this fake mask that I always put on. And so I walked around and pretended everything was perfect and I was flawless and there was nothing wrong with me. And that if there was something wrong, if you perceived that there was something wrong with me, it's because there was something wrong with you, etc., etc., etc. So in the manifesting reality, and when we're co-collaborating with the universe, it's that internal voice and those actions that we take or don't take, the way that we create in this reality, it will allow you to be a co-collaborator. It'll allow you to stay trapped. And so in imposter syndrome, it haunts your dreams and it sticks to you like white on rice. And in order for you to start moving out of that portal and that matrix, sharing your insecurities, understanding your archetype, the expert, the superhuman, the perfectionist, the soloist, the genius, whatever you correlate with, then starting to let in these other vibrations, that level of fear, of doubt, of insecurity, it's going to dissipate. And so the next thing is that you have to start practicing some self-compassion. We have compassion for everything, right? We see somebody that's suffering, and our natural inclination is to want to help. We see that's why all these GoFundMe's do so well, right? And all these people are like, well, I can give $10 to the cancer guy, I can give $5 to the homeless person, I can give $10. So we always, as human beings, it's our intuition, it's our instinct to help. And so if we hear somebody suffering or we hear somebody in pain, we always want to go and help them. But how much self-compassion are you practicing for yourself? Well, I wasn't practicing very much. I can tell you that for sure. I would have compassion for everything except for Michelle J. Lamont, and I would beat her up until the point where I became suicidal, and then I took action on those thoughts. So I don't want you to have that same situation and be regulated by those same things. So I'm giving you some breakdowns of things that I know will work and I know that will help you and that I teach in my coaching programs and in my classes. And trust me, you think that after a couple of hundred podcasts, I've said everything there is to say on every subject. I have not even scratched the surface. When you take my class, each workbook is like 25, 30 pages of phenomenal, handwritten, self-developed concepts. And one of the things one of the reasons that I'm saying that is because one of the ways to break free of that imposter syndrome when you're manifesting and when you're living in life, and living is manifesting, is that you celebrate your success. And I'm celebrating myself. I created live courses with phenomenal content and information in it that changes people's lives. And I'm very proud of that because I couldn't find what I was looking for when I was going through my spiritual awakening. I couldn't find people like me. I would read books and it would be a waste, and I would take a class and it wouldn't work. So I'm celebrating my success of creating and helping so many of you become successful. And that's also part of that. So another thing that people do in the imposter syndrome cycle is that they are constantly comparing themselves to people that they shouldn't be. In fact, anybody that you're following on social media that you look up to, stop following them. Make yourself your point. You're the best version. You're the person that knows you the best. And you're going to stop having so much judgment of how others will see you because you're not focused on somebody else's version of perfection. No, you're not. And so whether you're part of the 70% or not, here are a couple of the things that we have to break out of this limiting reality. And there's some certain steps that I'm going to share with you to kind of take you down this path and help you get past that hump. So let's get started. The first thing that comes to my mind when I'm working with people who have the imposter syndrome, and a large amount of people have this, is that their fear is their frustration controlled. Their fear is their frustration controlled, and nothing can be controlled. So your fear is that is your fear is the frustration in a controlled box. Like, okay, I can't quit now. I'm going to quit here. I'm going to hire this person then. I'm going to take that class when. And if I get this bonus and da-da-da-da. But you see, when you step out of fear and into faith and you just take those big steps, the universe meets you exactly in that point of union, and you and the universe are co-collaborating, and then you feel like everything is possible because, baby, it is. Everything is possible. Everything will work out for you, and everything is always happening exactly how it's supposed to be, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. The next thing is that I want you to just, in fact, let me just do it for you. I, Michelle J. Lamont, officially give you permission to carve out your own path and to be the highest and the best version of you. So I want you to give yourself permission to be the highest version. Sink or swim. But the universe is going to meet you with the Noah's Ark. Fill it up with all the people, all the situations, and all the opportunities that you're vibrationally attuned to. Meaning, you're a vibrational match to that highest version. And you've given yourself that permission. So there's a little script. That's a perfect word for it. That I want you to join in with me and say, I honor myself, my soul, and my future by allowing myself to be authentically me. Okay, let's do it again. I honor myself, my soul, and my future by allowing myself to be authentically me. One more time. I honor myself, my soul, and my future by allowing myself to be authentically me. Great job. My next live group course is now open for enrollment. So, hey, listen, it's called Into the Mystic. It's a powerful 4-week course that teaches you everything. I mean, everything you need to know about manifesting your unlimited abundance. I want you to join me and meet your new tribe of connected, spiritual, and dynamic souls from around the world who are also stepping into their level up season. Now listen, this is the best part. There are only 20 seats. So if you have any doubts, I have answers. Right there in my show notes, just click over. I offer a free call about any of the things that I offer. So let's get out of the doubt and into you changing and revolutioning your life with Into the Mystic. So now that you have vibrationally said that you are going to give yourself permission to carve your own path, to be your own person, I want to review a little bit of the steps that we've discussed so far that's going to help you manifest and create the highest and the best version of yourself. So, first of all, your imposter syndrome matrix is rooted in childhood trauma. Okay, it's unresolved childhood trauma. So I'm going to invite you to do shadow work. I'm going to invite you to talk nicer to yourself. I'm going to invite you to examine this. There are 5 archetypes that fit into this category. The first is the expert. The second is the soloist. The next one is the superhuman. The next one is the perfectionist. And the next one is the genius. And so these subcategories keep you trapped and keep you limited because you don't want things to fall apart and you don't want things to happen that were out of your control, and you don't want your world to disappear, and it's not going to, because you're living in the fear, and that fear is your fear of being a fraud just won't go away. It's not going to just wake up one day and resolve itself. You're going to have to step in this version, in this timeline, and adjust and become the highest version of yourself. And you have to remember that you're not alone in this. 70% of the people polled say that they are experiencing imposter syndrome. That's why they won't leave that teaching job. They won't leave that relationship. They won't leave that career. And they won't step into fear, and they won't believe it for themselves. And if you don't believe it for yourself, how are you living a life on purpose? You're living a life as a fraud because your fear is keeping you trapped into this ideology that you have to control everything. And imposter syndrome is built around fear. And you're going to have to be vulnerable and kind to yourself and talk about your successes and feel good and be surrounded by people who are cheering for you. If you say, hey girl, I just got booked on a TV segment, she's going, oh my God, what day? I'm going to tell everybody about it. I'm going to share it on Instagram. I'm going to make a TikTok about it. My friend's on TV. My friend has a podcast. My life is changing because I listen to Manifesting Miracles. And you want to be surrounded by people who believe in you as much as I believe in you. I believe in you, I believe in you, I believe in you, I believe in you, I believe in you. And then the next thing is, you're so hyper-focused on the perception of what everybody thinks of you. I understand this to the core, and I'm going to invite you to be flawed, and I'm going to invite you to talk about your stretch marks, and I'm going to talk about your insecurities, and when things didn't work out with people, not because you're trying to hide who you are. It's because you want to be so vulnerable and so open that the universe sees you as changing and evolving. Because remember, your fear of being a fraud isn't going to go away just because you decided that you don't want to be in that reality. You're going to have to work towards it. You're going to have to take steps. You're going to have to invest in yourself by listening to this podcast, by signing up for one of my courses, by working one-on-one coaching with me, but most importantly, by understanding that the imposter in you is simply your fear. It's simply a low vibrational dimensional place where you're creating. And once you step out of that and into this by giving yourself permission, by being vulnerable, by talking to your successes, by letting people go, by having some boundaries, understanding no is a complete sentence, celebrating your success, you're starting to walk in the path of the matrix where the imposter version of you meets the real version of you. And that high vibrational version of you, baby, that's a work of art. And so when you start to create in this other, and you start to step out of that fear, and you start to step into your higher self, and you start to really dig deep into that reality and into that energy, you are now creating in a dynamic universe. And you're going to say to yourself, I don't care how it shows up. I am not going to be ruled by control. I am not going to be ruled by research, and take no action. The other day I was talking to one of my clients, and she's trying to work really hard on TikTok, and I get it. I'm doing the same. And she had 75 videos in her draft folder. 75 videos that she was too intimidated to share with the world. She wasn't giving herself permission to carve her own path. She didn't honor herself. She wasn't honoring her soul. She wasn't honoring her future. She wasn't allowing herself to be the authentic version of her, because she was like, well, research shows this, and I should do it this time, and I should do it this time, and I should do this. And that perfectionism and that soloist and that genius and all of those things came colliding together with the fear of her stepping out of the controlled environment and stepping out of the imposter syndrome. Your fear isn't going to stop you from being a fraud. Taking action will. So you got to start right now, my love. I'm going to invite you right now to start that podcast. I'm going to invite you right now to quit that job, to leave that relationship, to write that book, to take that vacation. This is the only trip that we have around the little blue marble. This is it in this incarnation. Like, I'm a life path 9. This is my last time here. No children when you have a life, when you're not coming back. It's a very big symbol. And I'm a 9, so I'm done with all my lessons. And if I do my 9 right, I never have to come back to earth again. So I want you to start right now. I want you to leave that relationship. I want you to break up with those friends. I want you to stop following those people that make you have anxiety and stress on social media. In fact, just quit social media if you want to altogether. If it's not essential to what you're doing, quit. Stop. Don't do anything that isn't making you feel like the queen of the world, or the king of the world, or the best version of you, whatever he, she, they, them are. And start right now. Start right now. Start right now creating a brand new reality and matrix for yourself, because everything in imposter syndrome is about judging yourself And when we judge ourselves in such a small vacuum of just our insecurities and just our flaws, we are ceasing to get comfortable with the fact that we are, who we think we are. We are those mantras. We are those affirmations. We are that highest version of ourselves. So you got to get really comfortable, and you're going to have to step out. And if you don't know how to do it, I've got a class for that. Into the Mystic starts on March 5th. As you know, you heard a commercial. I also have a master class, 2 more this year. Maybe 3 this year. I'm not sure yet. 3 Into the Mystics and 3 master classes. But you can start manifesting right now by booking a one-on-one session with me. You can book an hour with me. You can book 90 minutes with me, 2 hours. You can do 6 weeks to success, 90 and 60 days of coaching. But you can book a free call and we can discuss it and see what might work best for you. Or maybe I can just give you some advice. But really, I want you to start right now, and I want you to listen to this episode. And most importantly, I want you to stop being so judgmental and start taking action. This is the only chance you're going to get, my love. And everything is always working out for you, and you are protected, and you are blessed, and you are that version of yourself that you say in the mantras and the affirmations. And when you're meditating and you're visualizing it, I want you to step right the in. I want you to understand that nothing is going to go the way that you plan it. And that's the beautiful mess of manifesting. And it's the way that you create the most dynamic and highest and happiest and freest version of yourself. Because I know how hard that is, and I know what it's like to live in that low dimensional space. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anybody. Nobody. Not the people who have victimized me or brutalized me, not the people who have taken advantage of me, not the people that I've brutalized, not the people that I've diminished, not the people that I've hurt. There was 2 chapters of me. A low vibrational insecure one who was always at war with everybody, and so she found a lot of wars to fight because I was so scared that somebody was going to find out that I was a homeless immigrant child, that nobody wanted me, that I was never good enough. And so I was rooted in this childhood trauma. And so I was only really successful at making a lot of money, but I wasn't successful in being happy. And then all of that just dissipated because of the relationship that I had with money and my ex-husband and all of that sort of thing. And we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I was really operating out of so much fear. And so I stepped into every version of the imposter version of Michelle, but I am finally the authentic, the whole, the manifested highest version of me. And I keep pushing for her to try more things and to go more places and to do more versions and all of that, because I want this matrix to evolve for you as much as it's evolving for me. Every single day I'm stepping into a new timeline and a new portal because I'm really authentically in love with being Michelle J. Lamont. And I want you to be in love with being you. And I want to help you with that. So I dedicated these podcasts not only as my love letter to the universe, not only as a reminder to me that I've come through so much, but because I want all of you to see yourself in the highest and the best version of yourself. I love you. I love you. I love you. I believe in you. I know you're worthy. I know you can do it. And I know that everything that you want wants you. So no matter what you get out of this podcast today, I want you to hear this. You are worthy. Get uncomfortable. Take big leaps with no nut. And listen to this episode. Send it to 5 of your friends. And if you haven't gone into Apple iTunes and written me a review, please do that. Make a TikTok and include me. Make an Instagram reel and include this. Don't be afraid to share manifesting with the world. Help others be the ultimate creators. All right. I'm going to wrap up for today, But I love you, and I'm so proud of you for listening. I'm so proud of you for showing up, and I want you to know that everything is always working out for you, and it is time for you. All right, producers, let's cue that music, because it is time for you to go and manifest your dreams. Yes! Thanks for listening to this episode of Manifesting Miracles. Now it's time for you to take action. I invite you to hang out with me just a little bit more by signing up for my newsletter. You'll get instant exclusive access to the practices that will chart your own path to abundance and yes, spark that highest version of you. Head to the show notes right now so you don't miss a thing. Now listen, I fucking believe in you. And it's now time for you to win, win, win. Yes, yes.